My spiritual gangsters, hello, hello, hello. Namaste, hello. How I've missed you, how I love you guys. I've been away for way too long, and my heart's broken because of it. But I wanted to do a little story time / informational video on the dark side of spirituality, because I think it's important to know if you are on the spiritual journey or on the twin flame journey. First off, how are you guys? I have missed you. I think about you guys every single day. I am at work, so if someone comes in and I'm quiet for a little bit, it's just because there's someone around, and there's certain things that I can and cannot talk about at work. So if I'm quiet for a little bit, that's the reason why. I'm going to adjust my chair a little bit lower. How are you guys doing? How are you guys? Oh my God, talk to me. Leave comments in the comment box. How is everyone going? First off, let's talk about this Saturn return. Saturn in retrograde, Mercury in retrograde. So Saturn currently is in retrograde. Saturn is the planet of karma. So everything we've been putting out is coming back to us. We're also in the year 2024. If you add that all up, it makes a big, beautiful 8, which is also the infinity sign. So for the past however many years, everything that we've been doing is coming back to us. E.g., Mr. Diddy, all the stuff he's going through. How are you guys doing with this Saturn in return? On top of that, Mercury's in return. Your girl was going through it. Things have calmed down a little bit for me, but your girl was going through it. The reason I've been away is because I've been working very, very hard. If you guys don't know, the twin flame journey is not only spiritual. I am the spiritual twin. My divine masculine is more of the matrix or 3D twin. So I've been clearing karma in the 3D and the spiritual world. And let me tell you, they keep your girl busy. I'm so busy and tired, and it never stops. But that's part of this journey. I'm here to help. Long story short, I was manifested and working in plastic surgery in Beverly Hills, and I cleared my assignment, cleared my karma there. I am now in another place, I'm not going to say where, and it's plastic surgery, and I love it. I don't know what I did right in a past life, but I'm home. I'm grateful. The doctor that I work with is just a heaven sent. Long story short, he manifested me. Before I accept a job anywhere, because when people know who I am, which I didn't know, people knew who I was before I knew who I was. And he manifested me because he knows I'm probably one of the only twins, at least in this area, that's doing the spiritual work. He manifested me. Long story short, we are currently splitting into 5D and 3D. Something called New Earth is happening. It's already happened. It's been happening. And so those who have raised their consciousness, clearing karma, they're learning the lessons, they're high vibrational, they are in the light, they are here for service to others. They're ascending to the fifth dimension, fifth dimensional Earth right now. Those who are hateful, spiteful, still have karmic lessons to learn. Their consciousness is low. They're living in fear. They're unfortunately in the 3D world right now. So we have 5D and 3D, and they're splitting. I've been dealing with a lot of people who are, I'm just going to be honest, because this is what this video is about. If you're easily triggered, click off. I just have to share it with you because this is what's going on. Right now, we're all under spiritual attack. We're all there's a spiritual warfare happening right now. And I'm not into politics, period. I may open an ear here or there just so I'm not completely living under a rock. But Trump said it best. They're fear-mongering. So I don't know if you guys have heard of the monkeypox disease that's out. They're now dredging up another way to fear-monger, because they know. So when I say they, I'm talking about the government. The government is very savvy to astrology. They know when Mercury's in retrograde. They know when new Earth is happening and there's a split. They know when the 8-8 portal, Lionsgate, is, I believe it's actually closed now, but the veil has been very thin. They know that there's a mass awakening happening, so they're scrambling. The government's scrambling to keep everybody very low vibrational, which is why they try to kill Trump. That was definitely an inside job. Everybody knows it. I'm not going to get into detail with that. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to switch our timelines. So if they killed Trump and they did it in a public way, it drops everybody's vibration down into fear and survival, which then makes them easier to control. There's actually, I don't know if you've heard of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There's actually a frequency chart of the highest frequency and the lowest frequency. The lowest frequency is fear. The highest frequency is unconditional love. So what they're trying to do is keep everybody down in the lowest frequency, which is fear, to make them easier to control. If everybody's in survival, they're in their animalistic instincts, they're easier to control. So what they try to do is kill Trump to drop everybody's frequency down into survival and fear and grief, obviously, because that would have been horrible to see, horrific. And through divine intervention, which is very real, he just happened to turn, the bullet missed him. That's divine intervention. That's God right there. Through divine intervention, God did not allow that to happen because God already knew that it would have been a complete disaster if that happened. So what happens is they're trying to bring us down into a lower timeline because as people know, if you don't know, there are parallel timelines, parallel dimensions, so on and so forth. So what they were trying to do is bring us into a lower timeline, and it didn't happen. It didn't work. We actually ended up in a higher timeline because he was not killed because God intervened. So long story short, the whole monkeypox thing is about fear-mongering and trying to get people back into their lowest chakra. So your lowest chakra is your root chakra, which is your connection to the earth, your safety, your survival, who you are as a person. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep people down in the lowest chakra instead of raising their frequency to the highest chakra. Meaning, if you're using like your crown chakra, your third eye, you're using your intuition, you're following messages that you're receiving from the divine and your higher self. They don't want that. So, long story short, there's a lot of spiritual warfare going on out there. And what I've been dealing with is, so when I supposedly signed up for this twin flame journey, there's a certain amount of karma that I have to clear. I have a light. I have a brightness to me. And I did not know this. So long story short, I did not know I was a twin until about 6 years ago. When I met my twin, I was really sick, toxic, abusive, mentally ill. I could go on forever. I started having spiritual awakenings. I lost everything. I ended up moving to the state of Washington to rebuild my credit, break generational curses, build myself from the ground up and do it independently, and then raise my frequency and vibration. I was in a karmic relationship for 4 years, which I needed because when I moved to Washington, I'm just going to be honest, my credit score was horrific. My taxes were a fucking mess. I had a DUI, so I had to clear that because I was dating a guy who was a heavy drinker, and I ended up getting a DUI. So when I moved to Washington, like, my life was in the shitter. I met this guy who I ended up living with, and he gave me a home for 4 years where I would help buy food. I didn't have to pay rent. I would, though. So every now and then, I think for 6 months I paid rent, and he held on to that money. He was supposed to give it back to me. He never did. But that's okay. So for 6 months, I paid $500 a month, and then I would just buy food, and I would keep the house tidy. I made that house a home, because when we moved in, it was bare bones, and I made that house a home. And so by him allowing me to do that, I was able to fix my credit, save my money, learn how to budget, learn how to spend the right way, because I had a horrific spending problem, which I got from my mom. Couldn't save a dime. So he gave me the ability for 4 years to basically revamp my life. When I left his house, my credit score was amazing. I was abundant. I was high vibing. I was manifesting money like crazy. I end up having another spiritual awakening, and my twin comes back into my life, and he's manifesting me because my vibes are high and I'm now woke. And so there's a lot of karma that I had to clear. Now that I'm back in California, I'm clearing karma. So me not realizing when I came back, the first job that I got from California, there was, it was at a surgical place, it was for bones. There was a demon there. So a lot of people don't know this, but there are people who incarnate here who have souls, and there are people who incarnate here who do not have souls. So when you watch a scary movie and you see the scene with the demon and his eyes are all black, that's very real. I've seen many of them where their eyes are completely blacked out and there's nothing there. And what that is a human being can become so low vibrational that a demon or negative energy or demonic energy takes over their vessel and controls them. It's very real. I've seen it at least 4 times since I've been back to California. It's a little scary, but you just stay in the light and you stay close to God. So long story short, the first job I had when I came back to California, I loved it. They mainly scrubbed like hips, knees, so total hips, total knees. When I got there, they needed my help. So I scrubbed all the surgeries so they could kind of revamp because they needed to organize. It just was a mess. Like the facility was a mess, but they were really busy. So I scrubbed all their surgeries and let the lead person there kind of revamp everything. But the lead person there was such a dick and such an asshole and literally I noticed that he was an energy vampire. So what he was doing is he was connecting cords to everybody there, and he turned off all of their lights and was sucking the life out of them to a point where they were just so unbelievably drained, lifeless. Like people who had skin color like me would come to work looking gray, like gray. And so for me being intuitive, I realized that he was an energy vampire. I cut all his cords, served him the karma that he deserved, and I left. I ended up going to another facility, again, orthopedics, and wow. There was probably about 20 employees that worked there when I started. And they all collectively came up to me and they're like, we're trying to get out of here. We don't want to work here anymore. We're trapped. Like, we all want to leave. And I'm like, okay, just leave. Little did I know, the CEO that worked there was a demon. So low vibrational, she was connecting cords to people and trapping them and draining them. I've never been to a facility where people had such bad anxiety and people were so low vibrational. They were becoming violent with each other. They were so low vibrational. There was one lady there in particular when I started. She was kind of quiet, didn't really talk to me much, and then kind of started opening up to me more and more. And she and I were cool for a little bit, but then she started to become like obsessed with me, and it was getting to be too much. It was starting to get in the way of my job. Like I'm trying to do my job, but she just was always up my ass. So I kind of started putting some space between her and I. She became more obsessed, more angry. Little did I know, I stumbled upon a demonic witch. She started binding me to her. She started doing all kinds of witchcraft on me, lots of voodoo, to a point where there's a doctor there. Some of these doctors are intuitive, they're woke. Some of them just aren't. One doctor came up to me and was like, you know, this girl who works here, he's like, she's a demonic witch. She does voodoo on everybody here. And I was like, you don't say. Because she was doing all kinds of spells on people. People were throwing up. People were going home sick. It was so bad. One employee there was completely possessed. This witch was so angry that she could not control me and take over my vessel. She wanted my life. And she couldn't because I was so connected to God, and I am so connected to God. One person you can't hex is someone who is so authentically themselves and so covered by the blood of Jesus and by the blood of the divine. They're protected, so you can't get to them. And the more she tried, the stronger I became. It actually backfired. And so she became more and more angry, more and more violent, more and more desperate, to a point where one day she tried to send, she cooked up a spell and tried to send a demon to me. And I felt it and I saw it coming and I rebuked it, and I had to call in some reinforcements. I had to call in some heavy spiritual hitters because she was trying to kill me. She wanted my throat because of my light. And so eventually she was so low vibrational. So what happened when I got there, before all the crazy started, she told me that she wanted a new job. She was not from here. She was from a different state. She wanted to go home and she wanted to work there to be with her family. Thank God. But she was so low vibrational, she could not manifest another job. She was so angry and She had horrible karma, like the worst karma. So what I did was I had to raise her vibration and manifest it for her, and I got her the fuck out of there. But in between time, she was sending me demons, she was doing all kinds of binding spells, all kinds of weird shit to me, all kinds of voodoo on me, and I basically banished her ass and got rid of her. So, long story short, that's what I was dealing with, and I did not realize that when I went to this place, it was a karmic thing. I had to share my light because the vibrations there were so low that people were becoming violent. People were becoming aggressive. People were doing, like, she was punishing everybody around her because she didn't want to be there anymore. But she was so low vibrational, she couldn't find another job. Every interview she would go on, people were like, nah. People aren't stupid, they know. And so I raised her vibration. I manifested her moving home. I manifested her finding a job. I manifested everything because I wanted her gone. I wanted her gone, and I was not going to stop until she was gone because it got that dark. So one girl came to work and she was possessed, and I had to remove a damn demon from her because this witch was so low vibrational. She was cursing everybody she could to try to get to me, and it just wasn't working. So she eventually left, and she continued to do spell work on me for months after. Eventually she left me alone, but it took about 6 months after she moved for her to finally leave me alone. When I was there, I thought I was protecting myself by binding because there were just so many people connecting cords to me, just draining me, but not realizing that's the karma that I had to pay. That's why I was there, was to lift vibrations. So I made that mistake, and I binded a few people, and that came back to haunt me. And it came back in the form of another demonic witch, but it was a male. He moved into the house that I was living in, and he at first was cool, whatever, but I was so in the light, I had no boundaries up. I was just open, and hey, come hang out with us, whatever. That was my mistake. Turns out he was there for me. So he started binding me. He was trying to sleep with me. He was trying to coerce me into bed. He was trying to coerce me into doing anything and everything. He was trying to control me. He was trying to take my light. He was draining me. He was very demonic. Very demonic. There'd be times I'd be in the kitchen and I'm making a salad and he'd walk in. Initially he had blue eyes. His whole eyes would be black. I could tell he used to do meth because he had meth mouth. And you can tell a low vibrational person by how they smell. He smelled so fucking bad. Ugh. It sticks in your nose and you just can't get rid of that smell. And even after he moved out, because I banished him and I got rid of him in about 2 weeks. He was there for about a month and a half. And once I caught on to his bullshit, I got rid of him because he would stay up all night. We shared the same bathroom, but we had different rooms. They're right next to each other. And I mean, from 8 p.m. till it was time to go to work, he would be doing voodoo on me all night, sticking pins in my head, in my arms, in the back of my neck, binding himself to me, doing anything and everything he could do to try to manifest money. Now, he did manifest a new car, but I don't think he's able to keep it and I'll tell you why. But long story short, he was trying to coerce me into bed. He was trying to basically trap me so he could control me and take my light. He had a daughter and a baby mama, and the baby mama was a heavy drinker, demonic witch, angry, and it was because of what he was doing to her. He had cords connected to her, controlling her. His demons were all around her. So he brought his baby mama to our neighborhood, and they were doing all kinds of witchcraft on me. And this is after they moved out. All kinds of witchcraft and spells and all kinds of weird shit. I'm like, dude, you moved out. Why are you still hanging out in my front yard? It was weird. Long story short, that's kind of dwindling out. So I've been gone from that house for maybe 4 months, and he was still doing witchcraft on me after he'd been gone for 5 months, still obsessing over me, still trying to manifest me, still trying to drain me, it's weird. So with what I'm going to say this, that's why I don't do tarot anymore. Tarot can open up portals, and I didn't realize what I was doing. I was opening up portals. I mean, portals on portals on portals in my house when I was doing tarot, and I didn't realize it. That's a no-no. That's why I've stopped doing tarot, because even if you do pray, tarot is one of those things that I believe, if I'm looking into a celebrity's energy, I'm kind of breaking the rules of karma, because one, I did not have permission. It's like running someone's credit and looking up their social security number without asking. It's not good. And I'm doing this on celebrities who I'm sure they already have a ton of people obsessing over them. So I was actually accumulating negative karma and opening up portals. Now, if someone comes to me and they're like, hey, I need a little bit of advice and I need some direction, can you help me? Then of course. But looking into people's personal business without their permission is horrible karma. So all that was backlashing and coming towards me. So I don't do tarot like that anymore. I think I've done tarot 3 times in the last 6 months, and I did it for myself, just for clarity. But I don't like tarot. It's just not good. I was going somewhere. So yeah, he was still binding himself to me, still doing all kinds of witchcraft on me, voodoo, all kinds of shit. So I did what I had to do to get rid of that. But what I'm saying is, you guys, when you're practicing, whether it's tarot, spells, be careful. Be careful. It's very real. I got so much backlash from the shit I was doing. I thought I was protecting myself by binding people because they were draining me so much. At work, I just couldn't even get through the day. I was so drained by all these low vibrational vampires. So I was binding myself, which helped. But you don't ever want to mess with people's free will. That came back and it got me in the ass, and it came back tenfold. So just be careful with what you're doing. What else? With tarot, be careful because you can open up portals. You're not even really supposed to be looking into other people's stuff. The only time I do tarot is for myself now. If someone comes to me and they ask me because they need help, then I'll do it. Or if I'm going to take a job or an assignment, or if someone is going to be a roommate, I look into okay, who the hell's moving up in here? If it directly affects me, then yes. But I don't do celebrity readings anymore. I just don't feel it's right. As far as Justin and Haley, I feel for him. I think he's a great artist. I think he's talented. I feel for him because he reminds me of who I was when I was in my 4-year karmic relationship with an energy vampire. His light's completely turned off. He's exhausted. He's drained. The lust for life is gone. And God forgive me, but I do believe Haley is draining him of his talents, of his life force, of his manifestation abilities, of his drive to live, of his drive to perform and do what he came here to do. I believe that she trapped him, obviously. She stalked him for years and then cornered him into a marriage after dating him for 2 months. And then, of course, locked him down and got pregnant. And I think that, to me, because I know that she's a narcissist, not that narcissists are bad, but I know that she's not his rightful divine companion. I don't like her. I don't feel she's the right fit. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? That's the decision that he made. And yeah, he's married to her, but he didn't have to get her pregnant. But he chose to, I guess. So there's really nothing I can do or say about that. I'm not running cards on it because we all can see what it is. We all know. Everybody knows what it is. I just wish him the best. I wish him the best. So I'm very picky about tarot because I was opening up portals like crazy. Now, so yes, I've been working a lot in the 3D, exhausted. I finally had a little bit of time off and I literally slept for 2 days straight. 2 days. I stayed in the bed for 2 days. I got up to pee and eat and I was glued to that bed because I was so exhausted. But this is what comes with the journey. The place that I work now, the vibrations here were so low that there are definitely entities all over the place. It was one person in particular, but when I got here, one of the people that worked here had an attachment that had cords that was sucking the life out of everybody and sucking the life out of this person, and I removed that. Another person had demon attachment. I haven't really felt it lately. It seems like it's under control. I don't know if it's gone or if it's just the karma's clear, so it's not really there anymore. I don't know. But it seems like vibrations way higher since I've been here. Every now and then there's definitely like a little entity that'll crawl on me. It happens. It's 11/11. Make a wish. Make a wish, guys. But protect yourself because it's dark out there. I mean, right now we're in Saturn return, which is the planet of karma. I'm not going to tell you what city I live in, but the city I live in is magical. It's beautiful. It's high vibing. I haven't seen so much darkness. It's like these people are like flocking. I don't know where the hell they're even coming from, but it's like so much darkness all of a sudden is showing up. It's really weird. But I'm going to stay in the light. I'm going to continue to do the work, yoga, clear karma, be honest, do what's right. But you guys, don't bind anyone. There's so many like videos I see on TikTok of, oh my God, you've got to be careful. The darkness is working overtime because there's so many videos I've seen on TikTok and Instagram of them teaching people how to do witchcraft, like dark shit, teaching people how to make voodoo dolls, teaching people how to like bind people. Stay away from that shit, you guys. Oh my God, stay away from it. Because, and I'll tell you why. The two people that I've met who are demonic, they're so far, when it's a death wish. When it grasps you, when you're in the dark and you're so low vibrational and you're so ingrained in this darkness and all this demon time and this, when it has you, you're done. It's done. There are some people who are so low vibrational, nothing I do can help them. And I know a lot of these people are reaching out to me and they're doing whatever they can do. They're acting out to try to get my attention. But someone sticking pins in the side of my head is not going to make me want to heal them. It's going to make me want to stay away from them. So what I'm saying is, once you start down this dark hole, this dark rabbit hole, it's hard, damn near impossible to get out. So these videos on TikTok and YouTube or whatever, TikTok and Instagram, teaching people how to make voodoo dolls, teaching people how to bind, teaching people how to do demonic shit. Do not do it. I don't care how you feel. I don't care if someone's talking badly about you or doing things to you. Give it to God. Do not get involved in that low vibrational shit, in that low vibrational demonic stuff. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because once those demons have you, they're not going to let you go without a fucking fight. You're going to need an exorcism. You're going to need a spirit team. You're not going to be able to manifest money, a job. It's just, you're going to have to call in like spiritual advisors, which is not cheap. And then a lot of those spiritual advisors are not going to want to work with you once they find out, and they will because they're intuitive, that you're out here doing demonic shit. They're going to be like, no, you're on your own. And then you're really stuck. It's a disease. Once it has you, it's not going to let you go. And these people, I do think, desperately need my help, but I'm not going to help. I can't get involved in that. So, just rituals, binding spells in general, tarot, just don't do it. It's not worth it. If you guys have any questions, hit your girl up. What I'm going to start doing is get ready with me, because I'm very passionate about makeup, and I'll answer any questions that you have. We can talk about spirituality. We can talk about the 5D, 3D split, consciousness. Right now, consciousness is being raised on, a huge level. There are so many people waking up. Consciousness is being raised. We can talk about politics, the government, whatever you guys want to talk about. We'll keep it respectful, obviously. But just protect yourselves in the light. Pray. Prayer is so powerful. Like, I started praying before I came to work, and it changed my life completely. I pray at night when I do yoga and stuff, but before I came to work, I started praying, and it's a huge difference. So you guys, I love you. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this live, and I'm so sorry I've been gone for so long. I think about you guys every day. I miss you guys. I miss my channel. It's unfortunate I had to do it at work. I had to have this conversation at work, but it's worth it. I'd rather get a video out and have something up than not. I love you guys. Stay in the light. Namaste. Hello.